Well, hello everyone. Maria here, and I have the lovely Leah Darrow with us, who is speaker, author, entrepreneur, mother of 3, wife to Mr. Ricky, a very lucky man. It's so good to see you.
Good to see you too.
This is so great. So we have our little coffee. So first of all, how do you take your coffee?
Black.
Black. But you said iced coffee sometimes?
Because I'm a mom, I'm never able to get to my coffee when it's hot. So I've now just embraced the iced coffee thing.
So sorry.
Iced black coffee.
That's great.
Hashtag mom life.
So obviously, like, beauty is like your whole thing. So tell me a little bit. I know you've got this podcast going now. It's relatively new, right?
Yeah.
So tell me all about that. It's called Do Something Beautiful.
Yeah, it's called Do Something Beautiful. So I got the idea and the inspiration from Mother Teresa, who always said that if you're going to do anything for God, make sure you do something beautiful. Make sure it's beautiful for God. And so that just inspired me because in my past life, I mean, beauty was always just something exterior. And it was always about how you looked and your type of relationship and how everything just looked on you or looked to the world. And you know, since my reversion back to the Catholic faith, God's just schooled me in the fact that beauty is just so much more than that.
Yeah,
and that if you really, to embrace beauty, it's doing something beautiful and accepting the beauty of your life and of course who you are and what you look like too, but and then seeing that beauty in others. So the podcast is based on that inspiration from Mother Teresa, and the goal is just for me to share stories and share people's lives with others that are really doing something beautiful in the world and for the world.
I love it. So great. And you've got, I didn't even introduce, this is Violet, by the way. I'm so sorry. Little Violet's with us today.
Yeah, Violet, she travels with me everywhere. She's 4 months old. Yeah, she's super cute.
So how many, you've been traveling all around this, like, the last 3 months. Where have you been?
It's been wild. Well, I was in Rome for Mother Teresa's canonization.
That's right.
You talk about somebody who really did something beautiful in the world, right?
Yeah, no kidding.
Okay, you know what's even greater?
Yes.
I was able to meet the Pope.
No way, I didn't know that.
Yes. How did it come about? I don't even remember. But like a Vatican official contacted me asking me if I would write my conversion story for the Year of Mercy.
Oh, cool.
In a document that they would send out to all the churches around the world. And it would include my conversion story. It would include Pope Francis and his talk of his journey of faith.
Okay.
And then it would include some quotes and stories from G.K. Chesterton. So, I mean, it's which one doesn't belong,
like, yeah.
right? Me. You got Chesterton and the Pope, and then Leah Darrow. Are you kidding me? Like who?
That's crazy.
This is
like the whole world.
If you don't believe in the Holy Spirit,
so it's so
then you should
cool,
look at my life because there's no reason why I should have been involved in this.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, Pope Francis spent so much time with us speaking and talking with us, with Violet and I, that afterward, just going back to that conversation and like thinking about everything he was saying to me, and it was just humbling. And it was such a gift from God that I was able to be there with the Vicar of Christ being like, wow. And when you're in his presence, when I was speaking with him, it could have been, in a sense, almost any other priest.
Right.
So humble.
Yeah.
He gave me complete time and attention, looked me in the eyes the entire time, listened to me. And then I completely, as in true Leah fashion, completely embarrassed myself.
What did you do?
So at the very end of our conversation, I was just like, Father, please, will you please pray for my family and pray for my husband? And my husband is great. He's a wonderful guy, Ricky. You've met him, right?
He's great.
And there's nothing wrong with him. I just want him to pray for Ricky.
Right.
I just really want him to pray for Ricky. And so Pope Francis, like, he holds my arm and he goes, of course, sure. Tell me his name. Tell me what is your husband's name? And I looked at him, and without batting an eye, I just said, Ricardo. Ricky's not, I mean.
He doesn't even ever go by Ricardo, does he?
No.
Just straight Ricky.
It's not a Spanish name. I mean, it's just Richard. And maybe I was trying to connect with like Pope Francis' like Spanish speaking roots. And I was like, Ricardo.
Have you noticed that like when someone's talking in an accent, you like kind of.
I try to pick up the accent or try to do it,
so
which is like the most ridiculous thing in the world.
That's funny.
So Pope Francis is like, Ricardo? He repeats it back to me. I go, yeah, we're going to go with that. His name is Ricardo. So then I had to call Ricky like later on that afternoon being like, yeah, so I told the Pope to pray for you, but I said that your name was Ricardo. He's like, what is wrong with you? And I'm like, there are a lot of things, actually. It was a good time.
I love it. Okay, and then another thing I saw, my roommate was telling me about this, actually, and so I had to check your Facebook today. Yeah. Just like that you unsubscribed from cable, that you've like done like a media blackout almost. I mean, I know you keep up your social stuff, but
there's just so much junk on TV. And outside of the news, which is biased in a variety of directions, okay, there's just a lot of junk on TV, and all this stuff is just a distraction to things that we could really do like better in the world if we were just not in front of our TVs all the time or in front of our phones or whatever it might be. So to help limit the distractions and noise in our life, so we just wanted to make the time in front of the TV purposeful. Like, okay, if we're gonna sit down in front of the TV, what's the point?
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of The Office.
Yeah.
It's my guilty pleasure. And if I could watch it every day, hours straight. And that's a problem. And if I can quote Michael Scott more than I can quote Jesus Christ,
probably.
Oh, we have a problem, people. We have a problem.
That's a good point, actually.
Right.
Something to think about.
And taking out all those noises and distractions really just brought me more peace. And I definitely feel still connected to the world.
Right. You still know what's
But I'm
going
not
on.
so concerned with everything crazy going on.
Right. And you still keep up social media too, but you're not.
Yeah, so I'm still on my social medias, but I've also limited that. Like, I unfollow people and organizations that completely just don't breathe life into my life. Noise and distraction is one of the greatest tactics of the enemy.
Yeah.
That the devil wants us to be distracted with everybody else's business and stories instead of focusing on our own life and what Christ is calling us to do in the world. And if we pay more attention to the world and everybody else's business, then we're gonna miss the boat on our own life.
I like that. It's so easy to do. I mean, you just zone out, and then all of a sudden you haven't contributed anything. You haven't.
Your day's gone.
Yeah, and you haven't developed as a person in any format. Or like, I think it also draws you very inward too, instead of like when
and then
you're
it can make
trying to do something beautiful is like going out and like capturing what other people are doing.
And then it ends up making you feel bad because, oh, I didn't get to my daily to-do list. I didn't do all these things.
And then you're stressed out.
And then you're stressed out because you didn't do it.
Someone,
and the enemy is laughing his head off. He's like, that's exactly what I wanted you to do. Be so distracted that you couldn't do what you're supposed to do, and now you're freaked out and worried and have anxiety because you're supposed to do something and you didn't do it. Blah blah blah. The cycle goes on, and so. Anyways, it's nice to kind of take a step back.
Yeah, and do that. I like that. Amazing. Okay, well, thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to Ascension Presents. And if you take Leah's Media Challenge, let us know in the comments below how that goes. We'd love to know. And if there's anyone else you'd like me to have a caffeinated conversation with, let me know in the comments below as well. And I'll see what we can do for you. So until then, God bless you all. We're praying for you. And have a lovely day. Cheers. Going cheers.
The crying baby. Ignore the crying baby in the background.